Hello racing fans, and welcome back to another edition of Handicapper's Corner, brought to you by the Derby Bar and Grill. I'm Mike Heads, along with Drew Forrester. We're going to go through the Saturday, June the 7th races at Hastings, as well as we're going to touch on the Belmont, and all eyes will be on Long Island, New York, as California Chrome tries to become the first Triple Crown winner since a firm pulled it off in 1978.
We have been waiting. Last week was kind of a slow week, not only at Hastings, but industry-wide. Was kind of a slow week. But boy, what a day, what a weekend it will be. Hastings has a great card lined up, some three-year-old stakes. And the card at Belmont rivals that, I think, of Breeders' Cup. It's one of the best cards you will see.
Numerous grade ones.
Yeah, lots of grade
grass,
ones.
Dirt. We'll see Broadway Empire, of course, owned by Alberta Connections and trained by Robertino Diodoro. Be ridden by Scott Stevens, trying to pull off the Met Mile.
On a personal level, too, my brher, Grant Forrester, has one running in the 4th race in grade 3.
Yeah, there's lots of graded action. It's great to see your brother. He always has done a great job with his horses, but it's nice to see him get a really good one that's, been running
he's got
in some
one
big
that
company.
It looks like he has a fair shot in there, as you mentioned, Broadway Empire. But just down the list, it's superstar to superstar running that day. And, of course, a little bit before 4 o'clock, what is it,
3:52.
Is Belmont, which, I mean, all eyes on California Chrome, crossing our fingers. Of course, here at the Derby Bar and Grill, we will be having a huge party for it, great drink and food specials.
Cool. Yeah, it's always great and fun to come here. And, of course, it's going to be a great afternoon on Saturday. So if you can't make it out to Hastings, please come out here to the Derby Bar and Grill if you're out in the South Surrey area. It's a fun time. The place will be packed. It's a great atmosphere, and should be a lot of fun on Saturday. Let's get to the Hastings action. First half of your early daily double. Got a field of 7. Fillies and mares here, and a non-winners of 2, non-3 BC bred race, going 6.5 furlongs. I landed on the likely favorite, number 2, Honey Skila. I didn't really come up with anything clever in here. I liked her last time. She was the favorite. She was obviously a loose leader in fair command. Ran off and hit on the head end, and I just see a contested pace with the 1, Rachel Run, the 3, That's the Spirit, and the 4, Miss Dickey. I see some good fractions in here, so I think Honey Skila will get a good pace to run at and be pretty tough. I think she's pretty solid in here with Amadeo Perez. I put the 3 horse, That's the Spirit, in for second. This horse actually, chased the pace last time and almost held second, but my top pick, Honey Skila, come and nailed her, but those two, there's not much between those two. And I put the 6 horse, Rodessa, who's another off-the-pace type. I'm really putting all my eggs in one basket with hoping a pace duel materializes. But I went 2, 3, 6 in the Saturday opener.
I went with the droppers. I got Miss Dickey on top of the Troy Taylor barn. They tried to run that Willamette race earlier on, an allowance race on the 17th of May, and that was too much for her, but they drop her in, a nice aggressive drop down to the 8,000 non-2 mark. So I like Miss Dickey. I put the other dropper, Rachel Run, who ran in that Lady at War Officer Mary race, in for 16,000, and now she drops into the $8,000 level. Mike Anderson is having a bang up year, and when he makes that kind of drop, his numbers are very good too. His numbers with Hamill are very good. They're batting 24% right now as well. And I put Honey Skila, the one you mentioned, probably your likely favorite. I was just disappointed in the race last time. I thought she could win that. Got well beaten by Fair Command. Fair Command was well meant that day, but she got beat 6 lengths. That steered me away from her this time. I went with the droppers. I went 4, 1, and 2 in the first. On the second, Fillies and Mares claiming 12-5. And as we mentioned, Fair Command, who,
that's why I went with her, because I picked her too.
Yeah,
like, you're going to pick her for 12-5. I know Honey Skila just hooked into a buzzsaw. They got away with some good fractions.
Yeah. I went with Fair Command here. Speaking of that, Mares for 12-5. The 4-year-old out of the Craig McPherson bar. Craig McPherson couldn't be any hotter right now, batting 43%. Again, his numbers with Hamill are off the charts. Got a 70 buyer last time out. That puts her above these. The second spot, I went with Jazz Unlimited. Horse that just ran a good second behind Closing Intentions. They went fairly quick that day. Ryan Pacheco, one of the good guys.
He's riding well. And he's riding well right now.
He really is.
Nice win with Lord 500, I think, last week. And,
I actually got him picked in the mix tomorrow. He's got a good chance on Sylvia Gregory's horse in the 3-year-old race. Or that's today. Yeah. We'll get to that later. But I went Jazz Unlimited out of the Steve Hansen barn. Ryan Pacheco, good second at Closing Intentions. Last time I hit him in second. And Sacred Delight out of the Rosie Anderson barn. She was in that same race behind Jazz Unlimited last time. I think she needed the race. Rosie's off to a good start again. 3 starts, 1 winner. She places her horse as well. She ran it for 16, drops her in for 12-5. I think she looks good in there. I got 1, 7, and 2 in the second.
Yeah, I agree with the 1 horse, Fair Command. I think this horse, there's not a lot of speed in here if you're I think the race is going to set up well for Fair Command again, and if she repeats that race, it is a significant jump up in class from a non-2 8,000 into an open 12.5. She's going to need to improve, but there was lots in the tank that day, and I think she can make the step up and win, because the last 16,000 that all these horses are coming out of really didn't have any speed in it, and so I think she's found a good spot here, and I like her. I put Clarice B in for second. A little wide the last part. I think she's pretty live. Maybe she can stay a little closer to the pace this time. As the 2 Sacred Delight, I like her as well. She had a brutal trip. She was 4 wide much of the race. Made an early run down the backstretch, and just was kind of forced into being kind of used a little early. It was just the way the race set up. It was slow early, and I guess Keyshawn didn't want to wait, and so he was out in the 3 and 4 pass, so he tried to clear, and they just quickened down the backstretch. But I think this horse is live with the 2-hole, and it'll probably get a little more relaxed, ridden a little quieter this time, and I think the horse could reward her connections with a good performance. I went 1, 3, and 2 in the second. On to the third race. First of 2 stakes races on our Saturday card. This is the River Rock Casino Handicap, 3-year-old Colts and Geldings going 6.5 furlongs. I'm going to go to the Anita Bolton trainee, number 1, Aspen Getaway. Pretty impressed with the way this horse ran. I know just reeled in Maiden Song of Victory last time, but still this horse, for just having won 3.5 furlong race, this horse is pretty advanced. This horse showed a lot of run, and there was a lot in the, it was impressive, and I'm willing to follow him back. I don't think there's a lot of speed in the race, and he's going to get an easy lead again, and it's his race to win or lose. But the 2-horse Coffee Grinder, rapidly improving, son of Grindstone, in for second. For Butch Gertzen, of course, of Crazy Coffee fame, former Horse of the Year, and pretty cool horse, Crazy Coffee, and he's got Coffee Grinder. Nice win first time out, beating a very good Slice of Red, who came back to win his next start in a pretty good time. So I like him for second. I put the 5 Jordan's Quest for Sylvia Gregory and Ryan Pacheco in for third. I think it's 1 or 2, though. I went 1, 2, 5.
I have the same horses. I got them in different order. I think Coffee Grinder is the horse to beat in here. He seems to really progress from his 2-year-old year to his 3-year-old year. Beat a horse that you're going to see in these races later on is Slice of Red. He beat him handily last time by 3 lengths. Even though Slice of Red did not have the best of it that day, Coffee Grinder totally impressed me. He looks good. He's out of strong connections with Richard Hamill and Craig McPherson. Got a 79 buyer for that outing last time. He's my horse in here. I really like him today. I think he's the horse to beat in here. The second spot, I went with Jordan's Quest. This is a horse that just won't go away. Just keeps getting better. Yeah, ran for 16, won by 7. Came back and run against Never Better Cause, Bernie Baron, decent horses, and just ran away from them too. Good time, 17 and 2, and he was kind of letting him, ease up. He wasn't riding really through the wire because he got away from those horses. And of course, Aspen Getaway, I put in the third spot. The Anita Bolton, very hot barn. Again, great connections, but I don't know how tough the Jim Coleman Province was. Tempest.
Came back and ran poorly in a non-2 allowance. And the only reason I went to him is just because of the pace, the pace scenario.
Yeah.
I think the dynamics of the race will help the one aspect.
Yeah.
This horse will get the lead. And,
I think those are your 3 horses. Absolutely, 1, 2, and 5. You could jumble them up, even maybe 1 and 2. But I went 2, 5, 1. I think Coffee Grinder's the one to beat, and we will see.
Yeah, it'll be a good race.
On to the 4th, the Emerald Downs. Now it's the fillies' turn, 3-year-old fillies. Nice how we got a 3-year-old boys race and a 3-year-old fillies race.
Back to back.
On Belmont Day. There's 2 horses in this race that you can kind of go back and forth between. I went with Ole's Miss because I think there's going to be a major pace scenario with Arabella's Muse. I mean, obviously, I think they're going to try and rate her after she went in 44 and 4 last time, which is the reason Ole's Miss caught her. But I don't know if she's rateable. She seems like she knows one way to go, and she's going to go that way. Dossalina's going to be in there, and I think if those 2 hook up, it could set up well for Ole's Miss. So I put Ole's Miss on top of your favorite Arabella's Muse. Arabella's Muse, I think, is probably the more talented filly, but Ole's Miss, I like her running style better in this race, so I put her on top. Arabella's Muse in the second spot. Couldn't decide on the third spot. I mean, those are the 2 that I really like, and I ended up with Architecture in the third spot. Just had the 1 out this year. I'm looking for her to take a step forward in her second start. Dino Condolinios, very capable trainer. I really like the way Dino runs his barn. Gets the red-hot Richard Hamill in her, so I put her in for third spot. I got 3, 5, and 1.
Yeah, I went to the 5 Arabella's Muse. I think she's
She is the most
miles
talented
the
filly,
best horse. Should not have lost to Ross McLeod, but got caught up in crazy pace early, crazy pace down the backstretch. It just never quit. The horse never got a breather. The horse ran all the way to the wire. Just got nailed by Ollie's Miss, who sat back and made one run, and made a good run though.
Yep.
But Ollie's Miss is, perhaps a little more professional right now than Arabelle's Muse, who is a little too headstrong. Eventually maybe this horse will be able to shed the blinkers and slow things down because she's
If she can slow it down, they will not beat her. But that's what worries me.
She needs to be
the ability to rein her in.
to curb her appetite for speed early, but she's come back to work well. There has been a barn change with this one. Not that that's going to make the difference. I think just the whole key to this horse will be if it rates, and I think it's totally in the hands of Arabelle's Muse and Frank Fuentes. If they choose to go at it with someone, well, that's silly. And if they just let her kind of take a hold the first part, and I think she'll win for fun.
Yeah.
I put Ollie's Miss in for second, and Dossalina in for third. I'm pretty impressed with her 2 runs. She's an up-and-comer, and I'm not a huge buyer guy, but you see a 76 buyer there, and Ollie's Miss only got a
over the field,
65 for winning a stake. I don't get that, but where there's 11 points difference for this horse beating 2 pumps. But I don't know. 5-3-2 for me. I like Arabelle's Muse. On to the 5th race, maiden 5,000 fillies and mares, going 6.5 furlongs. This is a race took me quite a while to maybe come up with something. A lot of the fillies in here have a lot of speed. They seem to want to go to the front.
If you're a buyer's guy, you're not going to like this race.
Negative buyers here. I went with 2 first-time starters. I went with the 1 Cape Away and the 3 second-time lucky. I think they're both. They haven't had a blemish on their record yet, so and they both come from good barns, Craig McPherson and Dave Forrester. So and they both have good pedigrees. So that was enough for me to take a shot on them. Look at them in the paddock. I don't have a strong opinion on either one. I haven't seen them in the mornings at all, but they both have found very good spots. They're not ambitiously placed, of course, here for 5,000. So I went 1-3, and I put the 9 horse Jubiliani in for third. This horse is taking a drop in class from 12.5 for 5. Came in with a good 47 flat work last time, but the horse still needs to show she can go 6.5 furlongs. She has some speed, but she still needs to carry it. And Frank Fuentes will ride this time, and we'll see how Jubiliani does. But I like the class drop. That was the main thing. I went 1-3 and 9. Didn't love the race. I'm sure if I play a win 4, I'm going to be playing more than just 1-3-9.
Yeah, I could not find form that I liked.
Yeah, so we went with no form
on these horses.
Workers.
So I went with 3 that had no form. I just picked the order because Craig McPherson's looked like the works were the best. Him and Hamill, I mentioned, are on fire.
And Amadeo for your dad.
And Amadeo
those are both
with,
good connections.
Yeah, exactly, with Dave Forster. And I put Mike Anderson's horse and Ryan Pacheco. Another Ryan Pacheco's hot. Mike Anderson's having a good year. I went with Midday Moon, the Wheeldon horse in here. Daughter of Surf Cat. There you go. 1, 3, and 8. I don't have much to say. There's no
form.
I haven't seen these horses, but I went with the ones who have proven yet to run a 0 buyer.
Yes.
1, 3, 8 for me.
In the 5th.
In the 5th. On to the 6th. 3 and up, non-2, non-3 BC breds for 16,000. I landed on the 6 High Force out of the Dino Convenios barn. Dino has had high hopes for this horse. He ran him in a maiden special weight last year. He beat Stonebridge Storm in Captain Salt by a nose. Came back, only got beat 5 lengths by Storm and Rebecca and Tracker, some of the nicer horses around here. First out this year, he ran him in that modern Go for Guinness Hope Seeker race. Got beat 8 lengths. He fits nicely in the non-2 category here. Son of Street Cry. This is one of those ones, one of the Darley horses. You cannot complain about the pedigree. Amadeo Perez takes the call. I'm going with High Force in here. It might be a little bit of a price too, but he's the classiest horse in the race. He's taking the drop. I got him on top. The second spot, I went with the 4, Leo's in the House. Another one taking the drop. Making a lateral move. We had second in this race last time behind Ruffy's Joe. He was part of that 3-way dead heat that you don't see very often. For second, put him in second. And one of the other horses that he dead heated with, Steveston Ladd, I put him in the third spot. And Peyton's Best, who was in that triple dead heat too, I left out. I could only put 2 out of the 3. I think High Force is the horse to beat. 6-4-1 for me in the 6th.
I went with the triple dead heat. I got them all. I went with Stevenson Ladd. I think this horse had probably the roughest trip of them all. This horse didn't get away well, and then was 4 wide through the last half of the race and got up for second. with everyone else in the field, it seemed like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like Stevenson Lad. A little better, better draw. Good work since the last race, and the pull for Barbara Heinrich, the owner, who was the live-in of Les Maisie, who passed away from cancer
Yes, absolutely.
a month or so ago. But
Our friend Les.
Yes, our good friend Les Maisie. Of course, the breeder of Stevenson Lad. But Stevenson Lad, for me, I put the 4-horse Leos in the house, who has the tactical advantage with being a speed horse, but not a lot of speed in the race, so perhaps this one could get away cheap and get the money, and I put Peyton's Best in for third. Halma rode this one last time for Harold Barabee, and this horse ran well, had an inside draw, moves outside, might have a little trouble getting the same sort of position, but we'll see. So at 1, 4, and 8, went with the triple dead heat horses to perhaps pull it off again. On to the 7th and final race on the live program, a $4,000 claimers going 6.5 furlongs. I landed on the 7-horse Storm and Proud Papa. You got to think the old guy needed the race, and he was off for
we both picked him last time.
a year,
we both picked him again,
and he gave a good account of himself.
Yeah.
He did lose second by a length and a bit to Proxy Man, but I think he'll reverse that decision. And I put the 4-horse though 3-point play in for second. I think it's a little easier race, dropping out of a 5,000 non-4, and I thought he ran well behind this Bruce View, who I like tomorrow on the Sunday program going along. But I put him in for second and put Proxy Man in for third with Amadeo for Jim Brown. I think you need them all the three of those. I don't love the 7 Storm and Proud Papa, but I think he's pretty solid here. I went 7, 4, and 6 in the Saturday finale.
I'm with you, Mike. We both picked him last time. We both take him today. I think absolutely he needed the start, right? He hadn't run since last July. Only got beat a length and a half by Arkhill. I think he's your horse. I like him a lot. I put Proxy Man.
Yeah, he's live.
The one who just got beat ahead by Arkhill last time. Amadeo Perez sticks with him. The third spot I put After Court of the Frank Barabee barn. Just got beat a nose by this Bruce for you in the non-4 condition. Decent time, 17 and 2. That fits in this kind of company. So I got him in third. I got 7, 6, and 8. That'll do it for our analysis of Hastings. We're going to run through our picks first. Mike's picks a bit first. Then we'll go on to the Belmont. There we go.
Here's a quick recap of our selections for the Saturday program. Back in race number 1, I went to the 2-horse Honey Skila, 2-3-6 for me. Race number 2, I went to the 1 Fair Command, coming up in class, but I think she can pull it off. I went 1, 3, and 2. Race number 3, I went to the 1 Aspen Getaway, looking for a repeat performance in stakes, 3-year-old stakes for Anita Bolton and Peter Redicott. 1, 2, 5 for me in the third. Fourth race number 5, Arabella's Muse for Kieran and Leaf Nordahl. 5, 3, and 2 for me. In the fifth race number 1, Cape Away over the 3 second-time lucky and the 9 Jubiliani. Sixth race, another one. That's my 4th one of the day. Hopefully the rails go traveling nice and firm.
Numero uno.
Yeah, the one for Stevenson Lad, the triple dead heat, 1, 4, and 8. And the 7th, I went to the 7 Storm and Proud Papa over the 4 3-point play, and the 8, or the 6, pardon me, Proxy Man. 7, 4, 6 for me in the finale.
And up next to me, my picks. There we go. In the first race, I went to number 4, Miss Dickey over the 1 and the 2. In the second, I agree with Mike on number 1, Fair Command over the 7 and the 2. In the third, I went to Coffee Grinder. I really like Coffee Grinder in the stake. Number 2 over the 5 and the 1. In the fourth, I went to the 3, Oli's Miss over the 5 and the 1, see if she can beat Arabella's Muse once again. In the fifth, I went to the first-time starters. Number 1, Cape Away over the 3 and the 8. In the sixth, I went to number 6, High Force over the 4 and the 1. And in the seventh, number 7, I agree with Mike on the old boy, Stormin' Proud Papa over the 6th and the 8th. There we go. That's Hastings out of the way. Now we move on to the Belmont.
Belmont
and
Stakes.
The question, can California Chrome do it? Mike, who do you like in the Belmont?
Well, why would you?
You got to pick California Chrome. Because we want him to win.
We're cheering for him to win. The first time in 36 years. Can he go a mile and a half? I have no idea. He went a mile and a quarter. It wasn't the fastest mile. It was 2:03. His Preakness probably was more impressive than his Kentucky Derby win.
Absolutely.
He had to do a little bit more early, and he had to hold off right on Curlin, who was traveling well at the end of that race. So but the mile and a half, it's not for every horse. Every horse can't go a mile and a half.
The horse that'll win the Belmont is the horse that's bred to go a mile and a half.
And the pedigree it's iffy going a mile and a half, but he's a horse that relaxes, and that'll be the whole key. If he can relax, for a mile and a quarter, and then put in a quarter-mile run.
A lot of it is up for in Victor's hands.
But he's drawn nicely. Sure. Yeah. He will likely be on the lead or close to it, or
he has
sitting
a cagey,
second.
very cagey, rider in Victor Espinoza, a good solid journeyman rider that you would feel comfortable in this position.
I put the 9 Wicked Strong in for second. I think this horse was definitely compromised by the 19 hole in the Kentucky Derby. This horse was 6-7 wide much of the race. Only fourth beaten a little less than 6 lengths. This horse ran a very, very good race.
Looked like he was going to be third too, but he was just getting tired because
skipped the Preakness. He's been training at Belmont, and he's always been training at Belmont, so that's a big plus. It's kind of his home course. And so, you know, California Chrome's got to go another road game, you know, going on to someone else's, you know.
This horse is already,
and Wicked Strong's, you know, won on the track, or he broke its maiden at Belmont last year. But still, he's a pretty cool horse too, and I think the 1.5 miles will be within him. And I put the 7 horse Samrat, another New Yorker that this horse has never been at Belmont, or actually what first start was, but primarily trains at Aqueduct and ran at Aqueduct. But I thought this horse ran very, very well in the Kentucky Derby as well. Was another one very wide, chasing the pace, and he never gave it up. I mean, Jose Ortiz said, you know, this horse ran a big race, and once again, another one, 1.5 miles, big question marks on everyone. But Commanding Curve, I left him out. I liked him in the Kentucky Derby, but because he was a Churchill Downs horse. And there's a pile of speed in the race, I thought. But this one, I don't know. I'm leaving him off the ticket, and Tonalist I'm leaving off the ticket.
Yeah, me too.
I went 2, 9, and 7, but we're all pulling for California Chrome.
Absolutely. So I have California Chrome on top too. I picked Wicked Strong in the Derby, and I went back to him here in the second spot at Churchill. He's probably hard spun to the Danzig line, so there's distance there. Out of a charismatic mare, his granddaddy almost won this race. Of course, pulled up famously at the wire under Chris Antley. So I do like his numbers are good for the distance. I think he'll get the distance. I have him in second spot. In third spot, I went on a flyer here. A little bit with my head, a little bit with my heart. Commissioner. This horse just ran second to Tonalist in the Peter Pan at Belmont Park. But he's kind of a plotter, and I just think he'll keep going and get the distance. And it is the last chance for absolute outstanding horse and stallion AP Indy to get a classic winner. These are his last foals. This is his last chance to get one of the Triple Crown races.
Of course, AP Indy won the
AP Indy did win the Belmont, so this is another one I think will get the distance. He did get beat 4 lengths by Tonalist, but Tonalist was on the lead that day. You're not going to go 1.5 miles on the lead over Big Sandy, as they call it. I put Commissioner in the third spot. I have 2, 9, and 8. Of course, all fingers crossed, all heart is on California Chrome. Hopefully you will join us here at the Derby or at Hastings Park. They'll have the big screen going.
It's going to be a lot of fun on Saturday. Quickly, we'll take a look at our selections on screen. Here's mine. 2, 9, and 7 for the Belmont for me, and Drew's going.
California Chrome, Wicked Strong, and Commissioner for me. 2, 9, 8. Commissioner, just a bit of a hard pick with AP Indy, but I'd like to see him run well.
Okay, thanks everyone for tuning in. Hopefully we've enlightened you with some little bit more information on Hastings races as well as the Belmont. Should be a great day. It's a great day to be a racing fan, and it should be a lot of fun. 7 races at Hastings starting at 150. The Belmont, of course, goes at 352, but a great undercard, as we mentioned off the top. There's lots of grade 1 races. And of course, Drew's brother Grant early in the card in a grade 3 at the 4th race at Belmont. So it should be a great day. So lots of local interest at Belmont, and of course lots of local interest at Hastings. So on behalf of Drew, thanks for tuning in, everyone. We'll see you next time here at the Derby Bar and Grill.
Bigger than 5 to 9, but Handicapper 10, he wins it by